Hello everyone and welcome to another video on this Model United Nations video training series. In today's video, we're going to talk to you about points and motions. So I've got a lot of curiosity been shared with me that Kevin, okay, we understood how to make great GSL speeches. We understood how to research for the Model UN. We've understood how the moderated caucuses and unmoderated caucuses work and these discussion spaces work. But how does the entire MUN move forward? So the whole idea of how this MUN moves forward is through motions. Now, what exactly is a motion? A motion is basically a decision making process so that these different events can be carried out or different activities can be carried out throughout the MUN. So, how does it happen? It always happens in a democratic fashion. That means every single delegate in the room gets an opportunity or has to vote whether they would like that motion to be carried out or not, whether they want that activity to be carried out or not. Now, to make this process a little faster, every motion that is raised in a committee room has one enemy and one friend. The friend is called seconds. Okay. Seconds simply means support, that yes, even I would like to be a part or I would like this particular activity to happen right now. Okay. And obviously, the opposite to that, the enemy is opposition. Now, if any motion has seconds and no oppositions at all, the motion directly passes. If a particular motion has seconds and oppositions, then we move into procedural voting, which I will talk to you about very soon. And if, let's say, a motion does not have seconds at all, that motion directly fails. It simply means that nobody in the committee wants to talk about it. Now, let's say a particular motion got seconds as well as it got oppositions. Then we move into procedural voting. Now, what is procedural voting? It's basically a 50% plus one vote. We'll talk a lot more about it when I discuss or in a video about different types of voting that happens. But let's just say that in on every motion that happens, every single delegate has to vote that when we move into procedural voting. Okay, so motions can be of different types, and for everything that we carry it out through motions. So let's raise a motion together. The verbatim for how you raise a motion goes like this: the delegate of your delegation name would like to raise a motion and the action. Okay, so for example, the delegate of Germany would like to raise a motion to start proceedings for the day, or the delegate of Germany would like to raise a motion to set the agenda to um, discussing uh, conflicts of Israel and Palestine, or the delegate of whatever delegation would like to raise a motion to suspend the GSL and start a moderated caucus, and so on. So these are different ways of raising motions. Now, have you been curious about all these motions in all moderated caucuses, unmoderated caucuses, GSLs, all these conversations are happening among the delegates, right? Even though it's directed to the chairperson, it's happening among the delegates. But what if you want to have a conversation with the chairperson? For that, we have a provision in the UNA USA procedure, and that is called points. Okay, there are four different types of points: the point of personal privilege, the point of parliamentary inquiry, you have point of order, and you have a point of information. And along with these points, you also have a right of reply. I'm going to talk to you about each of them now. So let's talk first about the point of parliamentary inquiry. If you have any question with regard to what is the time, or when will the committee session be adjourned, or when will your name in the GSL list come up, any question that you want to inquire about, that you want to ask about, is called point. For that, you will use a point of parliamentary inquiry. Okay. Please note that the point of parliamentary inquiry, you cannot heckle a speaker while they are speaking. So you need to raise your placard and wait and ask your point either before or after a particular delegate has spoken. Then next we have the point of order. Let's say there is something that is being carried out by the chairperson that is violating the rules of procedure. Okay, for example, let's say it was a particular delegate's turn to speak in the GSL. However, the chairperson gave another delegate the turn to speak. The delegate can raise a point of order. Or let's say a particular delegate's time to speak has elapsed, yet the chairperson did not stop them. The delegates can raise a point of order. Okay, once the speech is over. Again, even the point of order cannot heckle another speaker. However, you can raise a point of order before or after a delegate's speech. So let's say any discrepancy in the rules and procedure that is not being followed by the chairperson can be brought to the notice of the entire committee room and the chairperson by raising a point of order. Okay. Next, we have point of information. Now, point of information, a lot of delegates get confused with this. There are two types. Okay, the point of information to the chair is when you want a fact check of something that has been spoken by a particular delegate. And the second is the point of information to another delegate when you want to ask them a specific question. That is when you raise a point of information. Cool, we're all good till here. Awesome. The last one is the point of personal privilege. This is also my favorite point because it's the only point that can heckle another speaker while they are making their speech to make a provision or avail your privilege to you. So let's say a delegate is speaking too fast or a delegate is speaking too slowly. If delegate is speaking too loudly or too softly, maybe they have a very strong accent that you cannot understand. Maybe you want the fans off, you want the fans on, you want the lights off, light on. All of these, maybe you want to use the lavatory very urgently. All these are points of personal privilege, and it's the only point that you can raise your placard while another delegate is speaking and exercise it during their speech when their time is stopped and that particular point of yours is acknowledged. All right, that being said, these are all the points that we have. These are the ways that you can interact with the executive board. Now the last is, let's say a particular delegate insults another delegate or in the room in terms of affecting their sovereignty or their persona as a country. This can be taken care of by raising a right to reply. Okay, an ROR or a right to reply. It is raised by writing a chit to the chairperson or by raising your placard. Either way works. And what happens is this is that it's for up to the chair or the executive board to evaluate whether your right to reply or the apology that you're asking for is valid or not. I'll give you an example. Let's say a particular delegate says that Pakistan is a terrorist nation, versus let's say delegate says that statistics say, or a particular journal says that Pakistan is a home to multiple terrorists across the world. Two very similar statements, but the chairperson will not grant a right of reply or an apology to the delegate of Pakistan if it is said by the statement which was backing the with statistical data, because they are not naming or they're not blaming a particular nation. They're just giving them a term with data that is backed. Whereas for the delegate who said that Pakistan is a terrorist nation is a claim, and therefore this particular delegate may have to write a, a or write an apology to the delegate of Pakistan for making such a statement against them when they don't have any particular data or any backing to say that. Right, I hope this video helped you understand what are points and what are motions and how the entire points and motions are carried out, and also practice in front of the mirror probably sometimes of raising different motions that you can, so that it becomes very easy for you during the model UN. And also with that, we're end with the end of this particular video. I hope it helped you learn a lot, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My Instagram and my email address will be put up somewhere here. And keep munning. Thank you.